Larry's 13 months older, 5 inches taller. And, but we're 13 months apart. We were very, very close. So he said, Peter, where are you going today? I said, well, Larry, what, you need the car? He said, no, I just want to know where you're going. I said, I'm going to audition. I'm going to be, I'm auditioning as a truck. And he did the same thing. And so I said, but Larry, he's, evidently he's a hero truck. He's a hero. And his face got somber and he said, Peter, if you're going to be a hero, be a real hero. Don't be a Hollywood hero type with all the BS and all the yelling and screaming and trying to be tough. Be strong enough to be gentle.
Is that the Optimus we got in the Michael Bay movies? Not exactly. Now let me clarify, I don't have a problem with Optimus killing other Transformers per se. He's in a war, and typically in life or death scenarios, and when he gets mad, oh boy, you do not want to be on his bad side.
No point in chasing after them. Here's the trophy I want.
Also, whether or not he would have killed Megatron in the animated movie is debatable, but we're not talking about that. When it was announced that Peter Cullen was going to be reprising his role as Optimus Prime from the original animated show for the live-action movie, fans were thrilled. TV tropes used to call this Hugh Cullen, and I will fully admit that as bad as the Michael Bay movies are, and believe me, they get really bad at times, Peter Cullen's performance is always a bright spot. Or possibly the only bright spot. At least the music is pretty good. I actually had to watch the last night for the first time. I wanted to gorge my eyes. I have other things to discuss, and I guess we'll get into them some other time, but let's go on with what went wrong with Optimus Prime in the Michael Bay Transformers movies. Let's start with the first movie. I actually thought Optimus was portrayed quite well in this one. Sure, he's Splinter's bone crusher, but he clearly didn't have a choice and just moves on, and I do remember the theater cheering at this part. After Megatron dies, he says,
You left me no choice, brother.
He took no pleasure in it was just something that had to be done. Unfortunately, starting with Revenge of the Fallen, Optimus becomes rather murderous, and is prone to saying the one-liners which Larry Cullen specifically told Peter Cullen not to do because real heroes don't do that. I think it'd be best if I showed you what I meant by showing clips of Optimus from another version of Transformers and contrasting that with Michael Bay Optimus Prime, or perhaps even from another film just to make my point.
Don't be shouting and posing and pretending and yelling and acting tough. He said heroes don't do that.
I'll kill you! Give me your faith. You die!
Are you going to let it all happen again? For something as useless as revenge?
But when I find out who's behind this, he's going to die. They slaughtered Ratchet! I'm gonna tear them apart!
I do not condone the termination of any defenseless life form.
No, Optimus!
Grimlock will bring the other Dinobots under control. Grimlock, stop stumbling around and end this chaos. Transform!
You defend my family. Or die.
Roger, we're staying back!
I will kill you!
But the day will never come that we forsake this planet and its people.
Autobots, we're done.
I think you get the point. I was quite pleased to see Peter Cullen shared my criticisms.
And I had one major battle, and that was the use of a line that I thought was completely out of character. And I don't even want to say the line, but it had nothing to do with the military or anything like that. It was just the idea of modern day violence seeping its way into, the colloquial, everyday usage of violence, and it was so out of character, but nonetheless, I was told to say it, so I expressed my disdain and my reluctance to say the line, but I've never had to do that again. So I won.
Now look, I'm not opposed to Optimus Prime being a badass. I just don't want him to be a violent murderer. In Revenge of the Fallen, this is where it starts. There are moments where he is still classic Optimus, but then it all starts here.
Any last words?
I really don't think Optimus would say that. Then in the forest fight, there's this.
Piece of tin.
That's a typical movie one-liner. It works when Arnold Schwarzenegger says it, but not Optimus Prime. Of course, that's not getting into the end of Revenge of the Fallen, where Optimus pretty much goes on a violent rampage.
Give me your face.
Why? At least TF Wiki made that into a fun gag, and doing another un-Optimus Prime-like thing.
I rise, you fall.
Yeah, we're not off to a good start here. In Dark of the Moon, why is the movie called that anyway? Optimus reunites with Sentinel, the Prime who preceded him, and when Sentinel betrays them, he's obviously pretty upset. Although why is he not present when Sentinel betrays the Autobots? Like, where is he? Then there's the rather infamous part where a lot of people thought Optimus allowed the Decepticons to massacre Chicago, when that's actually a misconception. The truth is, after faking their deaths, it would have taken about 18 hours for the Autobots to get to Chicago, so this is not the case at all.
We will kill them all.
That line, however, sucks. What is the case, however, is that Optimus goes right back to being a psychopath, screaming like this.
You die!
Some take issue with him killing Megatron. I think it's implied that Megatron is not sincere about the truce, but it's still very vicious of Optimus to do this. Then there's the part where he kills Sentinel despite him being completely helpless. So out of character. In fact, a way you could have worked this, Optimus starts to walk away, but Sentinel lunges at him, thus forcing Optimus to end his life. But of course, we don't do that. Come Age of Extinction, Optimus is for whatever reason offline, and Cade Yeager brings him back to life, which just leads Optimus to say,
I'll kill you!
why would Optimus be saying that? After saving the Yeager family and reuniting with some Autobots, Optimus is portrayed as vengeful and vicious, just not even caring about humanity anymore. This is so not the strong enough to be gentle Optimus Prime we know him to be. In this movie, he pretty much gives up on humanity multiple times. You think Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi is controversial? This is that, but way worse in my opinion. Until a speech by Cade about sometimes mistakes are good, which doesn't really hang together in the slightest, Optimus changes his mind. How does he get the Dinobots to work with him? Instead of being diplomatic, he says,
You defend my family. Or die.
and then he goes right back to being murderous. Now granted, I understand the idea is that gradually losing all of his friends and allies has maybe tainted Optimus' idealism, but to this extent is a little much. Now, if I must be honest, Optimus becoming progressively more radicalized due to the losses through each movie is probably the only thing in these movies that actually makes coherent sense. But I highly doubt it was intentional, as continuity is pretty much just a huge mess. So Optimus takes off to space to confront his creator, and is promptly shown to have frozen in space. Yeah, maybe you should have just taken a spaceship, Prime. I'm sure Lockdown Ship had overdrive. So long story short, Optimus gets brainwashed to be Nemesis Prime, who is usually depicted as the antithesis of Optimus. Isn't that really what Megatron is supposed to be? Basically, this is Optimus Prime, but more murdery.
Something happened. That is not Optimus. We gotta find him, B.
Did you hit your head? That is exactly what Optimus is like in these movies. So Optimus is restored to normal through Bumblebee talking, even though he talked at the end of the first movie, but I guess we're ignoring that. Then the Knights want to kill him, even though he was brainwashed, but yada yada yada, they don't. These final battles all follow a pattern. Something happened to keep Optimus incapacitated, whether he was dead, away, or just, I don't even know what happened in Dark of the Moon. He was tied up in some cables or something. And then he comes back and he pretty much single-handedly turns the tide. I mean, that's pretty much what Optimus Prime does, but it just gets a little old after a while. So, to sum it all up, what went wrong with Optimus in these movies? He's a violent psychopath and a murderer, which is the exact opposite of what Optimus Prime should be. Why did this happen? I surmise that because Michael Bay never matured beyond the teenager phase of his life, he probably just thought this was cool and way better than the old cartoon. Essentially, it's because Bay is a man-child, like just as bad as Zack Snyder, but for the opposite reasons. It's why Optimus had flames in the first few movies. It's because Bay thought it was cool. Fortunately, with the Bumblebee movie being a soft reboot, we finally get a taste of the Optimus we want to see, and as of this video, Rise of the Beast is a few months out, and word has it it's very Optimus Prime centric, so hopefully we will finally get the Optimus we want to see on the big screen. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit that bell, like, and subscribe button. If you want updates, check out my Discord or my Patreon, which are provided in the description below. See you next time.